lazy bum Yakuza.
How are things over there? Okay, I'll go visit again soon.
How's Dad?
He seems fine. He's pretty busy.
Yakuzas really never get to settle down, even at that age.
Dear, Marina is going to hear you. My name is Sachiko, the wife of a Yakuza. I met my husband about 40 years ago. I was working as a mistress for a nightclub in Ginza when I got into trouble with a neighboring club. That club was backed by the Yakuza, and they threatened to drive me out. What'll I do? I can't just leave.
What's wrong? You look down today.
I couldn't help but vent to one of my guests, Goro.
All right, let me take care of this, would you?
I don't know what he did, but he settled that ordeal. I later found out he was a Yakuza belonging to an influential clan. From there, we ended up going out and ultimately got married. At first, Goro would never bring his job into the home or cause trouble in our community. This is no different than any other household. Or so I was thinking. Goro was quick to climb up the ranks. He became an executive, moved up to a senior executive, and soon became the head of his own clan. When I realized I had become the wife of the head of a clan, that changed everything. The head must have his trainees live with him, so we had to move to a large house. These trainees are mainly newcomers, and they're responsible for taking care of the numerous chores around the house. Lately, there are many young people that refuse to go through this, but when I was young, it was still an absolute requirement. And it was inevitably my job to take care of these trainees. Basically, being servants, I was told to just make good use of them, but... Wait, don't use a scourer to polish shoes!
I just thought it would clean off the dirt.
You don't even know how to polish shoes? You can't leave simmering curry unattended, it will burn!
Looks good.
I had to care for and teach these trainees like my own children. If only there was a system for predecessors to teach their followers. Being Yakuza, they're just a bunch of delinquents that have not had the chance to be taught things themselves. They would get into fights all the time, so I had to stop that too. After a while, the older ones became settled and started to take care of the young. But the first few years until that, it was really tough. Our clan also held gambling meets every 2 months. I was to manage those events and host them. There were no computers back then, so managing money was a big deal. All transactions were done with cash, not just inputting numbers into online banks. This job was actually eventually taken up by the executives, so that took a load off my work. The most troublesome were the police raids. Being a rising power, our clan was under strict monitoring by the police, so if there was any kind of Yakuza-related trouble, they would come to search our house. We would tell them we had nothing to do with it, but it was no use. If we resisted even slightly, we would be arrested for obstruction of official duties. We had no choice but to just let them in. The Yakuza confronting the police is just a matter of fiction. The police have absolute authority under the state, and living in this country, we have no choice but to comply. They can easily crush us. On the other hand, if the tens of thousands of Yakuzas scattered all around the country were to all rise up at once, even the police would have difficulty suppressing it. The state would ultimately win, but the casualties would be grave. That's why they maintain an appropriate relationship with us to keep peace. So, when the police come for their raids or visits, we open our doors. Thank you for your visit, please come in. Greet them, and serve them tea. But of course, we would not be Yakuza if we weren't breaking any rules. And that was before the prevention law, so we were running a wide variety of shinogi operations. Driving out tenants, debt collection, dealing real estate, construction, protection fees, dealing with hucksters. Oh, we were busy in those days. But it's what we had to do to pay our dues and feed our members. We used to give quite hefty allowances to the young members, which only worsened the burden of accounting. Goro was not very obsessive with making money and did not make many demands.
Sorry to burden you, hun.
So, watching over the finances was my job. But if I were to make a mistake with the accounting, that would give the police reason to meddle in our affairs, and the senior members would not be happy with that either. I used to have frequent meetings with the accountant to make sure things were done right. Then, we had a daughter. Goro was very fond of his child, and Yuki would often go visit him during work. I didn't want her to trouble the other members, and there were things I didn't want her to see. So, I had been telling her not to go to the office, but... Yuki, I'm home! I brought snacks! Yuki?
Oh, hello.
Ma, horsey!
Oh dear, what are you making him do?
It's nothing, ma'am. I offered to do it, right, Yuki?
Yuki was as free as anything running around the office, but the members really didn't mind.
Look, isn't this cute?
Yuki's gotten so big.
Yeah, she used to be so small.
Having been around since her birth, they were also all fond of her. So every afternoon,
Yeah, get him.
Go, go!
Ah, he's defeated again.
a lively viewing of children's cartoons was held. Further, on weekends, pretty much everyone was rounded up around the TV.
Yeah, you almost got him.
Go, go!
This would be the case every week. But this is what made me realize that Yakuzas are normal human beings too. They can cry watching an anime movie and can't help but lend a hand to small children. Maybe it's a lack of imagination that leads such people to commit evil acts. There may be a child crying or a young couple getting divorced because they had drove them out of their home. They can't picture that, but they see a child in need in front of them and they're able to act. They are somewhat distorted beings.
It's Yuki's open house today, right? Shall I drive you?
Oh dear, I forgot. What should I wear? I also had my troubles with relationships at school. There is the occasional thug that comes to school in gang-like attire to assert their influence. But of course, if we real Yakuzas did that, it would bring no good. In fact, Yakuzas with children do not show their tattoos. There are actually many bosses that don't have tattoos, but Goro had a dragon on his back. Goro tried to stop me, but I also got a dragon tattooed on my back. I wanted to have the same dragon as my husband, but I don't go around showing it off. Those scenes they always have in movies, where they whip out a knife, flashing their tattoos. That doesn't happen. So at school, I always dressed in plain clothes and acted like a working wife. Good day. Oh, Yuki's mother. Long time no see. But being too reserved has its setbacks.
How about you be president of the PTA? You look bored.
I thought you were elected.
I'm busy, damn it. Just do it.
I wasn't thinking it was too big of a deal, but the next day...
Please forgive us.
I'm sorry.
She came to apologize with bruises on her face. Things like this draw attention, so I had them leave immediately. Just another example of the hardships of a Yakuza's wife. Setting that aside, the years passed, my daughter became an adult, and started having serious relationships. Our clan had settled down, and my husband had started to talk about retiring, but...
Sorry to put you through this. It's just something I gotta do.
My husband shot someone and went to prison. He was expected to be sentenced to life in prison, but various circumstances helped to prevent that. But he had a long sentence waiting nonetheless. I have no choice. I turned in the divorce paper he had left me. It was Goro's request to get divorced. Yuki may be getting married soon. He didn't want to be a burden to her. And now, Yuki got married, and I'm living with my daughter's family. Goro's clan was kept going in his absence by a new generation of members. Goro has already been released from prison, but he didn't return to his previous profession. He started a leather craft shop, working with his former fellow, Nakamura-san, and is just getting by.
I was so worried when those goons caused trouble in his shop, but I'm glad he's recovering from it.
Oh, he'll be fine. He has so many people supporting him.
Mom, can we go see him next week? I want him to see Marina.
Sounds good. He should be delighted to see her. Don't be fooled. The Yakuza are not good people, but there are some Yakuza that do good.
Thank you for watching our videos. We upload new videos every week. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new content. Every comment helps our channel. Please feel free to leave your comments.